Imo recorded 15 new cases, Abia 14, Borno and Oyo 11 each, Plateau 8, and Kebbi and Kaduna states have 6 new cases each. There are 4 new cases in Ondo, and Katsina recorded 2 each, while Osun, Ekiti, Kwara, and Nasarawa have a case each. Lagos remains top on the COVID-19 table with 6,065, followed by Kano with 1,020 cases, closely trailed by the FCT with 1,012 COVID-19 cases. So far, 4,206 recovered patients have been discharged, with 365 deaths recorded. Nigeria has not yet reached its peak of the COVID-19 yet. This is why greater responsibility and compliance with safety protocols are required of every citizen to win the fight against the infectious disease. These are the national coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliyu, who are praising 100 days of the national response on NTA's current affairs program, Nigeria Today.
Increasingly, the main challenge now appears to be a degree of reluctance by the public to come forward and be tested. It's no longer an issue of a limitation of test reagents. We have test reagents for about 200,000 tests at the moment in the country. We've moved from having just 5 laboratories testing at the beginning of the pandemic to almost 30 now in the country. We've also made the laboratories more accessible. The only way we can stop this pandemic is for people to change their behavior. There's no vaccine, there's no drug. It's all in our hands. It's all about me and you being all the time. And one of the key measures is risk communication and community engagement. We need to give people an independent voice. We need to enable people to take responsibility for their own health and also perceive correctly their risk of catching COVID.
Dr. Aliyu also gave reasons for the suspicion and a review of the protocols for evacuation of Nigerians abroad.
That were brought from Saudi Arabia, for instance, almost 30% of them were positive with COVID. About 35 were infected. So we don't want to add the problem we already have in country. But at the same time, we know that these Nigerians need to come back. How do we get them to come back as quickly and as safe as possible? The government does not have the resources to continue to pay for accommodation for 14 days.
Yes.
Then if we were to accommodation, the money we will spend bringing in 4,000 to 5,000 Nigerians is enough for me to build 5 isolation and treatment centers across the country. So that's why we've introduced this testing before you board. The test needs to be done at least not more than 2 weeks from the time of boarding. You will be asked to sign a form to say that you agree to the host of measures that will be required. The airlines will be coming into Lagos and Abuja for the moment and not any other city. They will be advised on self-isolation. They will go home. This time around, we are not going to put them up in any hotel, or they will need to make their own accommodation arrangements. The next day, they will go to the test center and have a sample taken. The reason why we're doing the repeat test is because if you're in the incubation period during the first phase, you're likely to have a negative result. So we do a second test. At least we know the likelihood of you having brought in the infection is pretty low.
Nigeria Today is weekdays, and you can join today's edition at 7:30 p.m. live on NTA News 24. And earlier, we had Dr. Isaac Egbuja, a public health expert, join us on the news to discuss the surge in the number of confirmed cases of COVID-19. Here's what he had to say.
Well, there are a number of factors that are responsible. It's not only one factor. The number one is the fact that we are unfortunately having community spread of the COVID-19 now, which is something that we have been worrying about for the past few months. Unfortunately, that's what is happening. The spread is now. now, and therefore the surge is not unexpected. Secondly, we are testing more than we used to do, which is what we want to see. The more you look, the more you find. And this is one of the reasons why we are seeing an increased number of cases. However, the recent surge might also be due to the fact that the lockdown has been eased a little bit, and people are coming out. And unfortunately, not too many people are as afraid as they are supposed to be, or are complying with the rules and regulations of what we should do and how we should behave, especially in the public, as we are supposed to do. If you go to a typical shopping center or the market now, you see a lot of people not wearing their face masks, and they are going about either complacent, or they are doubtful, or they are just totally ignorant, or a combination of those factors. Well, one thing we should understand is that we are still in the woods. We are not near picking up yet. It is when we comply, when we obey the rules, when we behave ourselves the way we should, when we are concerned about ourselves and those around us, that we'll be expecting that the spread will slow down, and then the curve will flatten.
Dr. Isaac Egboja earlier on the news. And still on COVID-19 surge, there is an ongoing community transmission of COVID-19 in the Federal Capital Territory, with a total number of confirmed cases across the 6 area councils of the territory between 1 June and 7th this year standing at 220. With this reality, FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello says the area council's chairman, traditional and religious leaders now have more than ever to intensify massive sensitization in their domain. The minister made this known at the FCT Community Stakeholders Meeting in Abuja. Shuaibu Onozi Yakubu tells us more.
Giving an overview of COVID-19 in the FCT, epidemiologist with the Public Health Department, Dr. Doris John, put in perspective the distribution of cases by area councils between 20th of March to 7th of June 2020. She says within the period under review, the total number of confirmed cases 228, with AMAC recording the highest number. More worrisome is the result between 1st to 7th of June this year, which reveals the alarming rate of community transmission of the virus in the territory. LCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello says with this reality, there is the need for proactive measures from community leaders.
Experts have spoken to us. What we now need to do is for us to take our responsibility. And I must mention here that the onus of spreading the information on COVID-19 at the grassroots levels falls heavily on the shoulders of the area council administration, as well as the traditional and religious institutions within the territory.
If indeed we do love our loved one, our family, how ready are we? And what will make us ready? Adhering strictly to the rules and regulations as advised by the NCDC and our health or medical practitioners.
National Coordinator of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, Dr. Sani Aliu, and the Director General of NCDC, Dr. Chikwe Ihekwazu, called for increased community engagement as the battle against COVID-19 enters into a new phase.
The virus has escaped. It has escaped into the communities. The only way we can stop this is to work very closely with you to push through the issue of education and the knowledge about how to protect our communities.
The decisions that we are having to make will not be easy. We have to make compromises in terms of how we live our lives normally. We need your leadership more than ever before.
The first COVID-19 case was recorded in the Federal Capital Territory on the 20th of March this year. Shuaibu Onoziaku, NTA News.
The Ministry of Health has continued to receive support towards curbing the spread of COVID-19 in the country. This time, it is the Committee of Registrar of Health Professionals donating personal protective equipment. Alika Opanachi Arua reports.
As the battle against COVID-19 gets tougher in the country, more and more organizations are identifying with the frontline health workers. It is in this same spirit that the Committee of Registrars of Health sits to the Federal Ministry of Health, where donation of personal protective equipment worth over 3 million naira was handed to the Federal Ministry of Health. The committee also seized the opportunity to discuss some pressing matters affecting the effective operations.
We want the government to look at the decision of merging some of these agencies as a health personnel that are doing practice. You know that the function of these regulatory agencies are not the same. Merging some of them together may not be in the good interest of the healthcare delivery in Nigeria.
In spite of the challenges the government is facing in the fight against COVID-19 and other diseases in the country, the minister assures the committee of the ministry's support.
It costs a lot of money to protect yourselves, protect your citizens, protect the country, and nobody had a budget for COVID-19. So you have to rely on mobilizing money from anywhere. And that's what we have to do. The government to mobilize money in order to go to make up something to use. And that means altering the budget.
The need for collaboration among stakeholders in the fight against COVID-19 was brought to the fore. In Abuja, Alika Opanachi, Arua, NTA News.
This is the News Desk 3 on NTA News 24, reaching you live from Abuja, still ahead. INEC cautions strict adherence to guidelines ahead of Edo State governorship primary election. Stay with us.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
Thanks a lot for staying tuned into the News Desk 3 on NTA News 24. The Senate is considering a bill that seeks to repeal the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Act of 2010 and to enact the Nigerian Local Content Development Enforcement Commission. The bill, which has passed the second reading, seeks, among other issues, to have a single commission that will supervise the enforcement of local content in all sectors of the Nigerian economy under a unified law. The bill also strives to ensure that Nigeria looks inwards at its economic development and to check the abuse of work permits and expatriate quota. Meanwhile, Senate has confirmed the nomination persons as members of the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission. They are Salamatu Bala, Alfred Egba, Adamu Juguda Dibao, Oladele Buriga, Bello Wamako, and Hamid Yusuf, while Emmanuel Nwosu was not confirmed as a result of security report against him from the Department of Security Service. It also confirmed Lamido Juguda as Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission and Richard Karawusa Ibrahim Boyi and Obisan Joseph as full-time commissioners. Governor Abdullahi Sule has led a delegation of Nasarawa State to express appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for approving the federal government's takeover and funding of Fari-Ruwa Dam project. Investigation was in Abuja to convey the appreciation through the Water Resources Minister, Suleiman Adamu. Fari-Ruwa waterfalls present the potential, and Fari-Ruwa Dam in Wamba local government area of Nasarawa State was initiated in 2003 with 73 million cubic meters capacity to supply water to no fewer than 10 communities in the state. However, the good intention of a project went on hold at about 60% completion due to purported paucity of fund. Joining list of abandoned projects in the state like Akwanga and Doma regional water supply schemes. Hope was rekindled in 2018 when President Buhari approved the takeover. And last week, the Federal Executive Council meeting approved 8.1 billion naira activation and completion of the project. This delegation of traditional rulers and National Assembly members from the state, led by Governor Abdullahi Sule, underscores the importance of the project to them.
Thank Mr. President.
And they hope to leverage on it when completed to show up the state's agricultural potential.
With this kind of project, very close to a waterfall, we have the opportunity to have all kinds of agricultural activities, whether it is rice or cassava or sugarcane, of anywhere between 15 to 30,000 hectares easily in this area because of the kind of soil that we have.
And the president not only approved it at that point, he ordered the immediate release of 700 million naira for the project. And this year we have another 300 million, so we have like $1 billion naira already in our kitty, or almost in our kitty, to start this project.
You know, the policy is federal government does not take over state government projects. It has never happened. But then, this is the first of its kind.
Apart from the water supply components, the project will also include irrigation facility and 20 megawatts hydropower capacity, which is to be concessioned. In Abuja, on electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has confirmed the receipt of notice on the conduct of party primaries from 15 political parties for the Edo governorship election. Out of the 15 political parties, 14 are conducting the primaries through indirect method, while only the conducted its primaries through direct on the 22nd of June, while PDP, which is going for indirect method, scheduled it for 19th of June. A statement by the INEC National Commissioner for Information, Festus Okoye, appeals to the political parties to conduct the primaries within the stipulated time of between 2nd and 27th June 2020. And earlier, the National Commissioner for Information of INEC, Festus Okoye, joined us on our earlier bulletin to give insights on INEC's preparation and other issues as it relates to the upcoming party primaries in Edo State.
The timetable and schedule of activities for the conduct of elections in Edo February 2020. And we have also followed that up with the release of the number of political parties that have indicated their intention to conduct party primary elections. Now, by Section 885 of the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, every political party intending to sponsor candidates for election must give the Independent National Electoral Commission 21 days notice of their intention to conduct party primary elections for the purposes of nominating candidates to contest the election. So the political parties have fulfilled that particular mandate by giving us 21 days notice of their intention to contest elections. Out of the 18 registered political parties in Nigeria, 15 of them gave us notice of their intention to conduct party primaries. And out of these 15, 14 of them indicated their intention to conduct their party primaries through
means, while one political party said it was going to conduct direct primary elections. So we are getting set for the conduct of their party primaries, and we are definitely going to monitor all the party primary elections that will be conducted by these political parties. Our role as an electoral management body and as a regulator is to go and monitor the primaries of these political parties. One, to make sure that the delegates, they said, if they are conducting indirect primaries, that it is only the authorized delegates that vote in these primaries. And two, if they are conducting direct primaries, to make sure that every aspirant is given a level playing field and that all the members of the party are also allowed to exercise their franchise in voting for the aspirant of their choice. It is only when the parties conduct valid primaries that their aspirants can transmute into candidates, submit the name of such an individual to the Independent National Electoral Commission as the candidate of the party for the various positions.
Festus Okoye, INEC Commissioner for Information, earlier on our news. On behalf of Nigerians and the Federal Executive Council, President Muhammadu Buhari is sending warm greetings to the leadership and members of the 9th National Assembly on their first anniversary, extolling the sense of duty and diligence in handling issues related to the development of the country. A statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says President Muhammadu Buhari salutes the vision, courage and patriotism of the Assembly, noting with appreciation the understanding and maturity of the lawmakers in speedily processing bills that drive the welfare of Nigerians, courageously finding common grounds to move the country forward and passionately carrying out their oversight functions with justice and fairness. The President presents his goodwill to the Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker of the House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila, congratulating them for using their wealth of experience, wisdom and knowledge to ensure a peaceful working relationship among lawmakers between both chambers, the judiciary and the executive, by always focusing on the larger picture of nation building. As the 9th National Assembly commemorates the landmark, President Buhari believes the legislature has brought dignity and honor to the country and looks forward to more years of harmonious working relationship with focus on the livelihood of citizens and creating an enabling environment for a prosperous nation where both the young and old can fully realize their dreams. And Plateau State Governor Simon Bakola Long has rejoiced with the 9th State House of Assembly on its first year anniversary under the leadership of Speaker Right Honorable Nuhu Ayuba Abok. A statement by Director of Press and Public Affairs to the Governor of Plateau State, Makut Simon Macham, indicates that Governor Lalong, in a congratulatory message, said the legislative arm of government has remained proactive, thorough and responsive in carrying out its duties of lawmaking and oversight. Lalong also described their conduct as exemplary because they have extended a collaborative spirit in all engagements with the executive arm and heads of ministries, departments and agencies, MDAs, in the course of carrying out their duties. And that concludes the News Desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Thanks a lot for watching it. I'm Musbadan Wahab. Good afternoon.